President Trump announcing Saudi Arabia is investing $600 billion into the United States. That includes funds for defense contracts, technology for both countries, AI, and energy. Here's what the president said about that. Watch.
The days of economic misery under the last administration are rapidly giving way to the greatest economy in the history of the world. We are rocking. Before our eyes, a new generation of leaders is transcending the ancient conflicts of tired divisions of the past and forging a future where the Middle East is defined by commerce, not chaos.
So the president aiming to bring trillions of dollars into the United States with expected investment from Qatar. And
this is a lot of stuff that's getting like swept over on liberal media. So he had, I mean, the trillions of dollars that he's gotten countries to promise to invest here is astounding. I mean, I haven't been able to dissect all of it just because it really is so much. But I mean, this is one of those topics that it's a little bit dense, right? So people aren't gonna. It's not sexy. You can't do a quick TikTok on it and make everybody happy with it. But it's something that needs to be hammered. These countries are investing boatloads of money into the United States. I really do believe that we're going to be seeing a renaissance in the U.S. going forward, as long as nothing crazy happens in the next year or two, which I don't foresee, unless something outside of an assassination, God forbid, or something like that were to happen. I think the U.S. is going to be riding really high going forward in the near future.
In the United Arab Emirates. Here to discuss is host of Making Money on Fox Business, Charles Payne.
If you guys can hit that subscribe button, it really helps me out. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Always looking out for you. So, Charles, we were just talking about this on the air. He's using economic prosperity to get peace around the world. How does that benefit us?
Well, you can see all of these deals, right? And one of the things that I thought was really interesting about this visit is who President Trump brought with him. So there were at least 8 publicly traded companies yesterday. All of their stocks except one were up, and some were up huge, right? So when you bring, NVIDIA, when you bring Jensen Huang over there with you, when you bring some of these other folks over there with you, that's the motorcade.
The motorcade of the president going right now. I think he's heading to see the royal court to get that greeting right now. But Charles, this is leg number 2 of this trip.
Right. And so think about in the last 4 days what we've seen over the weekend. The big headlines, Lawrence, were the peace things, right? The India-Pakistan truce. And by the way, these are multi-decade conflicts. Zelensky and Putin meeting. Even in Turkey, the Kurds giving up their insurgency, Turkey saying they'll develop that area. Peace is breaking out where wars used to break out. And they're not going to want to give him credit, but President Trump is overseeing all of this. And, it's not a hard sell in Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. United Arab Emirates, Dubai. I was there maybe almost 20 years ago when they first started building. At one point, 25% of the world's cranes were there. Someone there figured out, we're going to run out of oil one day. What do we do then? And even in Saudi Arabia, oil is no longer the number one moneymaker. So it's the idea of peace as a foundation around the world is really the best foundation for prosperity to spread around the world, and we should spearhead that.
So you got that on the world stage, and then here back at home, you see the inflation numbers, and we got some good numbers right there. You see what happened with China and this tariff negotiation. Right. People were panicking, at least Wall Street was panicking, but it looks like right now it's going the president's way.
Let me tell you, so we get the price increases, right? April, go back, everyone, just Google.
What's going to be the argument from the other side, right, at this point, right? Inflation is at an all-time low. I think, equal to when he was last in office and everyone was doing well. Gas prices are down. Job market is up. I mean, I saw somebody going out there now saying that he's just benefiting from Biden's economy. He's taking credit for it now. I mean, that's a funny spin. I don't think it's going to work. But, what's going to be their argument? These numbers are just staggering. He was able to turn this around in 3 months. We had one of the worst eras that I can remember, in my 40 plus years here in the U.S. on the planet. And within a matter of months, this guy turned this freaking ocean liner almost on a dime, and we're going in the opposite direction. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing.
April headlines, March headlines. Used car prices are going through the roof. Well, used cars and trucks were down 0.5%. Blue jean companies, how can retailers make money in this environment? Your blue jeans are going to double up. Apparel prices were down. The things that were up are things we need, right? We have to have motor vehicle maintenance. Has nothing to do with tariffs. We need motor vehicle insurance. We don't get it from China. We need hospital services. We don't get it from China. We eat food from home. We don't go all the way to Beijing for when we dine out. Medical care, the things that went up are things that we have to have, and that has nothing to do with the tariffs. All the things that went down, and what was most telling, the thing that went down the most, airfares down almost 3% month over month. What does that tell you? We're tapped out as a nation. Right, because we had fun. We got the stimmies, we spent them, inflation went through the roof. We're still trying very difficultly to bring that down. These tariff things, and I was the only one coming on TV saying
it's true.
That if anything, it might be a one-time hit. You know, and that's historically what they've been, a one-time adjustment. But more importantly, they're not going to pass these prices on. If you're already struggling, you're behind your credit card, and something that you were going to spend $400 on costs $450, you're not going to buy it. You're simply not going to buy it. That's why Wall Street went crazy, because Wall Street doesn't care about Main Street. They just care about corporate profits. And even if they have to suffer for 1 or 2 quarters, oh my goodness, they can't feed at the trough for maybe 3 to 6 months. They lost their minds. Now they're losing their shirt, because they bet against the stock market. Main Street bet on the stock market. We're at a moment in time where the dumb money is crushing the smart money, and the smart money already panicking, having to buy in and taking a loss. So they bet against America because of one thing, TDS. It was a huge mistake, in my opinion. Never bet against America, no matter who's in the White House.
You've been consistent on this from the
What a great point. What a great point. Something I didn't even think about, right? I mean, I know, obviously, you know, I know plenty of Main Street America. I don't know too many people up in the upper echelons of finance. But what were they doing? They were buying into this market. Absolutely, they were buying the dip, right? And the intellectual, you know, finance people, they're thinking that this thing was going to last forever. We were going to get hit, you know, the recession. The R word was coming out: recession, recession, recession. That everything was going to tank, and they were shorting and selling and doing all these crazy things. This was actually the one time that I do remember. Like, look, all these guys were dumping their stocks, whether it's Gates and all the top Wall Street guys were selling. And there was a lot of guys that probably did pretty good. I mean, you know, they didn't make millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars, but, you know, they invested into the country because they believed in what was going on. And that's the difference, right? People that were consuming stuff like this, you know, the everyday person, they're like, you know what? I think this is going to work. And they put their money where their mouth was. And, you know, hopefully a lot of them did pretty well for themselves.
very beginning, and proven right as well. Charles Payne. If you want more advice from Making Money, weekdays, 2 p.m. Eastern Time on our sister.
Charles Payne, great guy. If you guys can subscribe to the channel, it really helps me out a lot. Give me a like, give me a share, subscribe, whatever it is you want to do, helps out the channel. If you hit up the comments, I talk to everybody in the comments. I answer every comment. We have a good discussion down there below. Thanks a lot for coming out, and we'll see you again on the next video. Thanks a lot, guys.